Science, Innovation and Technology Secretary. What we heard there, you're going to lose the next election.
I don't think that's unlikely. I don't think that's likely at all, because if you looked at Suella Braverman's speech today, I didn't see all of it, but I saw the clips you just played. You give the impression that you're looking at somebody who is a shock jock, a commentator, not somebody who is actually the Home Secretary. This is somebody who has blamed UK courts, who has blamed European judges, and now she's gone global with her blame. But just look at the facts. Since 2010, the number of people who have been returned after failing to get an asylum application granted has fallen by 70%. This happened on her watch. When Rishi Sunak said earlier this year that he was going to stop the small boats and that he was going to end the use of hotels for asylum seekers, it was costing us, as a country, £6 million a day. It's now costing £8 million a day. So this is all Suella Braverman's fault. It is her department that's responsible for all of this, and all of the statistics are going in the wrong direction. For asylum seekers who are coming here, they're waiting 2 years, often more, just to have their claim processed. And now she's going abroad and blaming some kind of international treaty for what is her failure to run her government department properly.
Some people will listen to what Suella Braverman says and think, you know what, she's got a point. You know, we can't take in every person who fears discrimination, because, sadly, there are a lot of countries in the world that do discriminate. I mean, do you agree with her there?
Of course, we agree that people who come here who claim asylum, they need to have their application processed. If they fail, they need to be returned. But that's what's not happening.
But what she's saying is that the system itself, the merits on which the asylum claims are being processed is wrong. It needs updating.
No, what needs to happen is that we need to have a process that is well run, so that people who do claim... Look, the whole system has been mismanaged. If you look at the small boats, 5 years ago there were 400 people coming across the channel on small boats. Now we're looking at almost 50,000, maybe touching even 60,000. That's because the government failed to see it happening. They broke the system for which the applications happen. So, now, look, to fix the system, we need to stop sending more Home Secretaries to Rwanda than asylum seekers, use that money to set up a criminal task force within the National Crime Agency so that we can work with Interpol and our European neighbours. We can start cracking down on those criminal gangs who are trafficking the people. We need to have...
It's hard, though, you know, like, we've heard an awful lot about busting the gangs.
It would be nice to try, wouldn't it? It would be nice to have a government that tried.
I think the Home Secretary would say that they are trying to bust the gangs. And Interpol themselves said that it's actually, this is such a difficult thing to crack because it's transient, the relationships people have with people. If anyone waved a magic wand, then do it, then they do it, wouldn't they?
Of course it's difficult to crack, but it would be nice to have a government that actually tried rather than flew around the world just posturing. I mean, you can't... To have...
Is it a leader pitch, you think?
Oh, there's no question. She does very little else. But, look, these are all policies that don't work, costing taxpayers an exorbitant amount of money, £8 million a day to house the failure of Suella Braverman to get a grip on the asylum programme in this country. The number of individual cases processed by one individual caseworker in the Home Office has fallen 50% in the last 5 years. Suella Braverman is up to her neck in the failure, and now she's blaming others.
A few other questions for you, if I may. I've just come back down from the Lib Dem conference in Bournemouth, and Lib Dem MPs couldn't walk 3 metres without a journalist saying, are you going to go into a coalition with Labour? So they wouldn't give a straight answer, so I'm wondering if you'd give a straight answer to that question. Would Labour go into coalition with the Lib Dems?
No, because we don't need to. We are ahead in the polls. We have the programme for government. It is working. No, it's not.
If there was a hung parliament, which the polls suggest is a likely possibility, would you go into coalition with the Lib Dems?
No, because the polls are not suggesting a hung parliament. The polls are suggesting...
I said that it's suggesting that it is likely.
No.
That is...
The polls are not suggesting a hung parliament. What the polls are suggesting is they want a clear, credible alternative, a programme for government based on a mission-led government, led by Keir Starmer. That's why we are consistently 20 points ahead.
Not going to get a straight answer on this from Labour as well.
Let me just tell you this, Sophie. The Lib Dems are a party that is looking for some coattails to ride into government. It will not be the Labour Party that provides them with that journey. The Labour Party is seeking to govern in its own right, and that is why we're doing so well with voters at the moment, because people are responding to Keir Starmer's mission-led government in waiting so that we can start tackling the big challenges the country faces, but not just to mitigate the challenges that's left behind, like 7.7 million people waiting for treatment on the NHS. creating new opportunities, harnessing the technologies of the future, create new jobs, seeing that the green challenge we face is not just an existential challenge of climate change, it is an opportunity to create the jobs of the future and the wealth creation of the future.
You've got some research about employment figures out today, haven't you, as well? What's that showing?
Well, it's showing out of the 38 countries in the OECD, which is 38 countries which are like-minded with us as a country, we are the only one that is going backwards when it comes to unemployment, employment and people who are economically inactive. The only one. We need to make sure that we retool our Job Centre Pluses, get them facing the future, because there's been no work on reforming the way we work with individuals since the COVID pandemic. So we have a whole class of people, a whole group of people who are economically inactive. We're not looking at the specific reasons for it. We're not actually putting the effort in to try and give them the tailored support they need to get back into the workplace.
There's one other thing that I do want to squeeze in before we come to the end of the interview, because I am totally confused about HS2. What is Labour's position, right? What is it?
Well, you've got to tell us what the government position is so that we can respond to it. What is
why do I need to tell you what the government position is? What's Labour's position?
I'll tell you why, Sophie, because when we left office...
Why does it make any difference what the government's position is?
Let me explain to you why.
Very confused still. I don't think it's going to be cleared up.
Let me explain to you why, Sophie. When we left office and we commissioned HS2, then the government did the implementation plan. It cost the plan they put forward cost £32 billion. Since then, because they have extended it, they've contracted it, they've cancelled contracts, put bits on hold, they've then recommissioned bits of it that they'd already previously commissioned, and we've had inflation caused by the mini-budget of the government last year. So costs have gone up by £60 billion.
OK, so what would Labour do?
They're now talking about cancelling again. What Labour will do is see what the state of this programme is when we get towards the point of a general election, and we will make sure that we deliver the high-speed infrastructure and the rail infrastructure that the country needs at that point. We cannot commit until we see how much more damage this government are going to do to our economy, to jobs, to growth,
to the second
and
leg
to...
of HS2.
We don't know what we're going to inherit. How can I say it until you can tell me in specific terms what we're going to leave for us to inherit should we take office next year? I can't tell you what we're going to have to do in response. So when you get an answer out of the government, I'll come back and give you an answer about what the Labour Party will do, because we need to see how much more damage they're going to do to our rail infrastructure,
well, hopefully we'll get an
to our
answer
economy,
out of one of you, either you or the government.
and our
That would be great.
asylum system.
Thank you very much for being on the programme.
Thank
Peter
you.
Carr there.